feel like it's been forever since I made a book versus movie video. I just either have not had time to watch a film of a book, or I have not had time to read a book before watching the film of that book, and so that is why we are bringing you a book versus movie video today. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week, normally, and then movie reviews here at the weekend. In the description box below, you will find all of my social links, including my blog and my Goodreads, where I have managed to post some book reviews lately, so go and check those out, definitely. I will leave a playlist of my book versus movie videos linked up above because they are one of my favorite kind of videos to make. Absolutely one of my favorite kind of videos to make because I love reading and I love movies, and that's what this channel is about. As always, they are spoiler free, and I understand that when the rights to a book get sold, the film company has every right to do what they want with that storyline, with those characters, with that title. And I am not here to suggest that the book should be everything, the movie should be everything that the book is. I understand that things can get changed, but I love looking for those similarities and differences and bringing them here and sharing them with you. So let's talk about The Hating Game. Now, this is not a novel that was on my TBR. This is not a novel that I was like, oh, I must read that. It was on my radar. I looked it up, and it falls under the heading of those kind of romance novels by in that sort of category of they're quite predictable, they're quite samey, and therefore I can take a couple of them sprinkled throughout my reading every sort of quarter or so, but I'm not necessarily going to be placing a hold on them to read them as soon as they come out. So the Bromance series by Lyssa Kay Adams, we've got the Well Met series where it's a romance at a Renaissance fair. It sort of falls into the same category as those ones. I am not a massive fan of a pure romance novel. I love a romantic comedy. I love a romance where it's kind of issues based and we've got other things going on with it. I really want to love like Jasmine Guillory as a writer. I've met her, she's fantastic. I love what she's doing for like plus size romance and having fat main characters in her novel. But they just don't sort of float my boat the same way a sort of like Lindsay Kelk, Sophie Kinsella novel does. I think because they're doing less character-driven novels, more character-driven novels, sorry, and less just here for the romance novels. I think that's where my tastes differ slightly. And when I recognised that that kind of novel wasn't my like be all and end all, that was a good thing because I wasn't being sort of let down by a choice that I'd made. So I was able to borrow this one on audiobook from my library. I borrowed it via the Hoopla app, and it's been on there for a little while. It got the cover changed to be the like movie related cover as well, and so I did listen to this one, and it was as expected as a book. I thought it would be quite predictable from the title. We know that it's going to be really, really hard falling into that enemies to lovers trope category, and so we kind of know what to expect. I like the fact that it had a corporate setting. I like the fact that we had a very career driven main character, but then some of the other choices that she makes and some of the other thoughts in her head are just a little bit on the old-fashioned side, and I think that's what sometimes bothers me in a just true straight romance novel. But yes, obviously this was adapted into a movie. I streamed it on Amazon Prime here in the UK, and I listened to the audiobook and then almost immediately, I think there was about a week's difference, watched the movie. I would say that this definitely falls into the category of they've pretty much stuck to the book. The script has word for word scenes where the characters say exactly the same thing, they look exactly the same way, and they're in exactly the same setting. Now, it is unclear in the book where it is set. In the movie, it is very much definitely set in New York, and we see our main female character commuting on the bus. In the book, she has issues with her car, and the issues with her car kind of lead into a couple of the ways, a couple of the times our two main characters are pushed together outside of work, or are pushed together because she is late because of car issues. And so that was interesting that she's now a commuter on the bus. We see her walking places where we very much see her driving in the book. So that's where there's a little bit of difference. But the office setting and the fact that we had two publishers, a very corporate mainstream publisher and a very indie granola type of publisher, have had to merge, which again is the case in the industry, isn't it? Let's face it. And so these two publishers have merged. She's from the much more indie, free-flowing side of things. He's from the very corporate, money-driven side of things. I mean, let's face it, all publishing is very money-driven. So a little bit of artistic license has been taken there, but yes, they've had to merge, and they've come together, and they hate each other. And she begins the book and the movie by saying how fine a line there is between love and hate, and we know that both require a passion, and so that's why the enemies to lovers trope is so popular and so sort of easy for characters to get together based on that, because we know that passion is there in both of those feelings. But yeah, there are moments where the words that the characters in the film are saying are exactly the same as the characters in the book have said. The timeline follows the same thing. Of course, as always with a book, I think the audiobook for this one was about 11 hours, whereas the film is an hour and 3/4. We have little details that have been cut out. However, the movie can obviously do a lot more showing, whereas the book has to do a lot more telling, and so we don't get descriptions of outfits, we don't get descriptions of he looked like this, she looked like that, he looked at me like this, he got up and walked away. We just get to see those things happening, and we can sort of see the emotions conveyed in the same way as well. There is a scene later on in both the book and the film, and this is not a spoiler, but there's a scene where our male character goes to a family wedding and our female character ends up being there as well. And I would say that this the emotions for the male character are sort of more hyped up and more of a key feature to his character in the book than they are in the film. We see him being a little uncomfortable and sort of feeling those feelings on a very surface level in the film, whereas in the book a lot more is made of that wedding and how it's going to have an effect on his emotional well-being and how it's going to have an effect on his kind of week from there. He's obviously very affected by this family wedding, and we're not sure why in either case, and we do get to find out why, and I'm not going to spoil that obviously, but we know that it's really affected him, but a lot more emphasis is placed on that in the book than is placed on it in the film. I will say that, like any good book to movie adaptation, we do get a little shot of the book in the movie, and so that is quite cool, because it's always nice, like in Love, Simon and in the Victor spin-off series as well, we can see some of Becky Albertalli and other YA writer friends' novels in the background on the shelves, and so it was cool being able to see the book in the movie as well. So yeah, obviously we have a major sort of setting type of change, but that doesn't really affect the storyline terribly. And then the one character that really got me as to how similar they were in the book and the movie was the HR. I don't know if it was the HR department as a whole or just the HR director, who has to deal with the fact that these people hate each other at work and cause all this tension for other people at work. But she is exactly how I pictured her in my head in the book, in the movie, and that is always great. It's like, oh, that must be her, before you even know that she is the HR director or the HR person. you kind of know that it's going to be her. You kind of go, oh, yep, I bet that's her. And then it is, and she's exactly the same as she is in the book. And so that was really cool. I think they did a good job with casting the characters. I think that possibly our male lead could have been a little sort of harder. He was a little bit too accessible, if you ask me. And our female lead was very sort of movie pretty, obviously, but then it's a movie. I think that in the book she comes off as a bit more generic looking, a little bit more looking like you and me, a bit more relatable. But then again, that's movie casting, it's actors, it's Hollywood, that's as it's going to be. And so I think that they were both cast really well. And I think that the whole movie was cast really well, and I like the fact that it stuck to the book. I think I am more likely to rewatch the movie than I am to reread the book, but I can't see myself doing either anytime soon. But yeah, I think if you asked me to pick, I would probably say that I preferred the movie over the book, just because the book is not in a genre that I enjoy reading terribly, and that is just a personal thing. And if you enjoy a straight romance novel, then that is absolutely fine. We can't all like the same things, and I love that about us. So yeah, as always, if there are any book to movie adaptations coming up that you would like to hear my thoughts on, please do let me know in the comments. And if you have read the book and watched the movie of this one, then let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future book reviews, movie reviews coming your way very soon. And yeah, I will see you with my next video. Thanks for watching.